So coming up on Saturday night in the beautiful city of Nottingham, we have a rematch of one of the fights of the year from 2023. It's Forest against Leeds all over again. Poodle Hair against Space Raider Head. Their first fight was an epic battle. Leigh Wood got the victory in round 7, but he was down on the cards. Warrington was pissing the fight. He got clipped and he got stopped. He was pissed off about the stoppage, but on Saturday night, he has the opportunity to get his revenge. This will be epic. You would be a fool to miss this one live. So kicking off with lethal Leigh Wood, who currently has a record of 28-4 with 17 wins coming via knockout, a former 2-time featherweight champion of the world. He has had a sensational career. He's been involved in some of the best fights we've ever seen on these shores. That Michael Conlan fight got voted Fight of the Year for 2022 by ESPN. It was a back and forth battle. Leigh Wood was done. He got dropped heavily in round 1. Somehow recovered, and when he was down on the cards in the final round, he literally knocked Michael Conlan out the ring. Just one of the best knockouts, best comebacks I have ever seen. Sensational from Leigh Wood. He could have retired that night on that fight, and his legacy would have been secured forever. But he went, no, fuck this. I'm going to give you all some more spectacular nights. He did lose to Maurizio Lara in his next fight, but did get revenge later on that year. And then we had the Warrington fight, so he literally took a year and a half out the ring after the Josh Warrington fight for whatever reason. I think promotional issues. I think he got paid very well for the Conlan fight, the 2 Lara fights, and the Warrington fight. And I think it was one of those where he thought, look, I'm only going to come back if the money is ridiculous. I think he got very well paid by all accounts against Anthony Kakachi. Unfortunately, he did lose that one. But when you take such a long time out the ring, these things happen. Kakachi had all the momentum. And I think a prime Leigh Wood could have beat Kakachi, but that was a Leigh Wood who looked very rusty in there. And he still won some of the early rounds, but got stopped in round 9. So he can be hurt, Wood, as we saw against Kakachi, Lara, and early on in his career against Gavin McDonnell. But he does have a massive set of balls, a huge heart, and ridiculous power. He's moved up to super featherweight, and I think that was definitely the right time to move up to super feather. He looked very big at featherweight, and I think that will suit him a lot in this fight. I think the Kakachi fight might have took a massive part out of him, but also it was probably good for him to go 9 rounds, even though he did take a lot of shots in that fight. So he's 37 now, Leigh, but he's coming up against another veteran in Josh Warrington. The Leeds man is 35. He currently has a record of 32-4-1 with 8 wins coming via knockout. He did win his last fight against Asad Asif Khan over 10 rounds, but not the most convincing performance in the world. And prior to that, he lost 3 in a row to Kakachi on points in a dominant loss, really. Barely got into that fight. Leigh Wood, obviously. And Luis Alberto Lopez was close, but I do think Josh just about lost that one. But between 2018 and 2019, what a run Josh Warrington went on, defeating Lee Selby at his beloved Ellen Road. He won a split decision that night. It should never have been a split decision. Josh convincingly won that. I thought Selby was going to school Warrington, and Joshy boy put on an absolute clinic that night. He just wouldn't be denied in front of his home fans, and it really was a true gritty, fantastic display. After that, he was another massive underdog against Carl Frampton, and he buzzed Frampton a couple of times early on, again winning in an epic war. Such a great fight, that. But he didn't look great against Kid Galahad, but I did feel for Josh that night. He won a split decision in Leeds. Now, I thought he lost this one, but bear in mind how negative Kid Galahad was, and bear in mind he never had any points deducted for repeated holding, which he should have done. I actually didn't feel sorry for Kid Galahad at all that he didn't get that. I thought, you know what? I feel for Warrington there. He wanted to fight. Kid Galahad didn't. And I know Warrington is dirty at times, but at least he brings it. Kid Galahad tried to nick the fight. And unfortunately, when you're the away fighter and all you're doing is hold and trying to nick the rounds, you're never going to get it. But like Leigh Wood, he also got chinned against Maurizio Lara. Now, I think this was a fight that ruined Josh Warrington. Ironically, Howard Foster was the ref, and he should have actually stopped this a lot sooner than what he did. But crazily, he let the fight continue. It went 9 rounds. Warrington got dropped a couple of times and eventually got stopped in round 9. But that fight should have got stopped way earlier. I know it's always a tough call, but I think his dad should have threw in the towel. He never did. And ultimately, Warrington has never looked the same. He's always looked more fragile. He looks slower now. But also, Leigh Wood is clearly past his best. So it's a really hard fight to call. It's a total 50-50. But I think this fight is going to be very similar to their first fight. I think Warrington will have success early on. I do think that Leigh Wood will have his moments. I think both men will hit the canvas in this one. And I think ultimately, the bigger puncher will win the fight. And that is clearly Leigh Wood. I think he will clock Warrington. I think a bit later than round 7. I'm thinking between rounds 9 and 12. So I think Leigh Wood will get the job done late, but I say that with zero confidence. I think both men come across like top lads. They're both proper geezers. They love their football. They've both got great fans. It's going to be a cracking atmosphere. They're both accredited British boxing. I think the loser should retire. And I also think the winner should retire, because what a way to go out. But whatever happens, good luck to both men. 2 former world champions who've gave absolutely everything in all of their fights. And I'm certain this fight will be no different. This will 100% not disappoint. On the undercard, we have some real high-level shit in female boxing with the pissed off dude from the UFC, Meatball the Man Molly, taking on Bieta Dudek from Hungary, who has a record of 7-8.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
We've also got the return of Dave Allen against a French journeyman called Kareem. Buzzing for that one. And I'm even more excited for Dave Allen's dad jokes all week. Fantastic. I can't wait to hear about how he's been to Morrison's and he's bought some hobnobs because he's just a normal guy from Yorkshire. Fuck off, boring. And we do actually have a cracking fight in the super welterweight division between Ishmael Davies and Bilal Fawaz for the British and Commonwealth titles. That has war written all over it. But anyway, fuck the undercard. We're all here for one reason, and that is for some sexy super featherweight action. This will be so good. I can't wait for it. I'm buzzing it's happening. It's been a long time coming, but we are finally getting the rematch for Leigh Wood against Josh Warrington. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below anyway, guys. I hope you all have a great week. Enjoy the boxing at the weekend, and I will see you all on the next one.